Day 72 AI blogging. Yesterday in day 71, we were doing interlinking with those blog posts that we created for astronomical observatories. I'm going to jump straight into ChatGPT and I'm going to show you what I'm doing right now to finish up the last internal link for blog post number 9. And then after ChatGPT does this for me, I'm going to walk through the conversation that I had with my AI assistant and show you how we finally got to the point where we were on the same page and we were able to get the work done, the interlinking. So right now what it's doing is it's reaching out using the plugin link reader. It's reading the blog post that I have designated as row number 9. That's very important. And I'm going to show you here in a second how I had to reorganize the information and then get it to focus on one row at a time to give me the information that I need. So here is the text that it's given me that's saying is a possible phrase match for doing this interlinking. Of course, this is going to be up to you whether or not you want to do this link or not. If it makes sense, you're the editor, you're the one that has to read it and say, does it make sense for me to link from this article back to the first blog post? Does it make logical sense for the reader when it reads this? Does this text match the link back to that article? Is it a solid link? Do I want to do it or not? But we'll go ahead and we will take a look. And what are the role of astronomical observatories in space exploration? And what are we linking back to? Of course, if you go back to the table all the way up here through the conversation, and I'm going to break that down into a second, or break that down for you in a second, we are linking back to the evolution of astronomical observatories, the very first blog post at the top of this authority cluster, if you will. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back down knowing that we are going to link to the evolution of astronomical observatories. And we're going to look at this and say, finally, we have met, or finally, we might see more collaboration between different countries. Space exploration is a big job and it's easier when we work together. Just like how a team of superheroes is stronger than a single superhero, working together in space exploration can help us achieve more. I think this link will work right here, working together in space exploration. So what we'll do is we'll go back to group log and we'll look for this post right here about the role of astronomical observatories in space exploration. We'll go ahead and we'll hit F, and you can see that it has now found the exact match text and we are able to link to it. So you can see that that phrase is highlighted right here. So we'll just hover over it or create the link right there. We'll save that, exit this find. You can see now it's linked. I'll go ahead and hit publish. Can exit out of that. And now we'll go back to ChatGPT and I'm going to show you this conversation, how we got to this point. So this is where we left off in day 71. I'll link that in the cards, also a link in the description. You can see this was the original table. Number 2, or what I now have called, or working with the AI assistant have identified this row as number 2, was the only one that was correct when it came to the anchor text. When it came to the anchor text being exact match, being an actual phrase that is actually in the post, this was the only one that existed. The rest of them were just ideas. Now, you could take those ideas because they were good ideas and you could have rewritten or added that into the blog post, but that is not the task that I wanted the AI to accomplish. I needed the AI, just like if I was working with an assistant, to give me exact match so I could just find it and then provide the link or add the link provided and then get the job done. So what I did is I went ahead and I said, okay, please redo the table and add a number 1 to each row. That should have just been number to each row because there are some errors in the column anchor text in the original blog post. So I'm saying, meaning that I cannot find those words to link in the blog post, and I'd like to be able to work with you to fix the problem and have a number to reference as we fix the problem. So after it created that table, I said at this point, I know number 2 is correct. Please validate the other rows and update if you can validate they are incorrect. Incorrect meaning that the words do not exist in the corresponding link blog post. So then it gave me a brand new table after it read it, and then it was linking here to the blog post in row number 2. So it gave me a bunch of words and phrases only in the corresponding link. And yes, those words and phrases exist. So it got it right, meaning that the words and phrases exist in that blog post in row number 2, but that's not what I wanted. So there was a miscommunication there. Also, you can see link reader is doing that thing where it just keeps reading. So link reader and ChatGPT are stuck in a loop. So I had to stop that. So at this point, here's what I did. I said, okay, Now we've gone the wrong direction. Let's start over. Number 2 in the table below is correct. And this is the table that I copied from above, and I just copied it in and I provided the information instead of trying to reference it and it picking the one that it thinks I'm talking about, because there was no identification. There was no number to it. I just said number 2 in the table below, and I pasted in the content. I fed it the information that I wanted it to work from. Then I said, I need you to provide the new validated information in the same table format. Because if you remember up here, it was giving me a different table format, and it was actually focused on row number 2 only, and giving me words and phrases that exist in that blog post, just that single blog post. So then after I fed it, or after I stated that we are going in the wrong direction, let's just start over, use this information, this is the information I need you to work from, then I need you to validate it. So then it comes back and it says, okay, after analyzing the content of the blog post, here's the updated table. Of course, this is the exact same phrase and all the other phrases are the same. And it comes down here and it says, please note that the anchor text in the original blog post are not exact phrases in the corresponding blog post, but they do capture the essence of what I would need to use to link back to that blog post, or what would make sense. But that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get an exact match so I can just find it and link out to it. So then I simply ask it again. Can you give me exact phrases in the corresponding blog post to link to? And it says, here are the exact phrases from the corresponding blog post that can be linked to. Again, it's the exact same text. So then I just stop it here. You can see what I said. And what I said was, okay, I had to stop that generation. Row number 2 is correct. Please give me the exact match phrases for the anchor text to link to. If you cannot do that, let me know that this is not a task you can accomplish. Then it goes in and it starts reading again. That's the thing about ChatGPT, is usually it'll just not come out and just say, or usually it will not just flat out come back to you and say, I can't accomplish this task. It will try to create what you want. It will try to do it. Even if it can't do it exactly, it's trying to make sure that you get an output based upon your input, even if it's wrong. So then again, you can see based on the content of the corresponding blog post, here are the exact phrases that can be used. Again, it's the exact same thing. So you can see down here, it says, please note that the exact phrases from the corresponding blog post are not available. So I'll come back and I say, okay, I think we can do this, but I think the problem is at this point, I'm trying to ask you to do too much. I'm trying to ask you to create a table. I'm trying to ask you to read all these blog posts and then again, put all those into your buffer and then make sure that you have all that knowledge and then build a table. Let's break it down to one simple task at a time. This is like trying to be precise in your input, but you can also break down the task into smaller chunks and get a better result. Just like when I write the blog post, I don't say write the whole blog post. I have it find the keywords and I have it do the outline. And I usually do that all in one prompt. And I found that that's a pretty good result. But then when I write each section, I do that as an individual task, as an individual assignment, as an individual input to the ChatGPT, to the AI assistant. And then they do a pretty good job. And if I need to feed it more information to get a better result, then I do that as another individual task or another individual input or an additional prompt to get more information out of the AI, out of the AI assistant from ChatGPT. So back to this, we said, okay, let's try again one row at a time to get exact match phrases for the anchor text. Please redo row number 1 and read the blog post and give me an exact match phrase. So it comes back and you can read this here, but here is the phrase. It is basically the entire paragraph. You don't have to link to the entire paragraph just like I did at the beginning of the video. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But if you were to go here to the timeline of astronomical observatories, go into that post, look for timeline. We'll go here, we'll open the editor. And here you can see if I search for that, it's gonna find it, and I've added that link and all is good. We are rocking and rolling. So then what I did is I just considered the fact that I gave it too many tasks or too much to think about, too much to chew on, too much to process, whether that's the back end buffer or it just can't keep all the tasks in order, or it just decides that, hey, this is better, this is easier. I went ahead and just did one row at a time. Great, thanks. Now do the same thing for number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. And the reason I'm showing all of these to you is because when I got to number 8, it did it again. it gave me something that does not exist. This does not exist in number 8, so I had to ask it, please redo number 8. Again, I'm not able to find the phrase. Then it gave me this paragraph after it redid it. Of course, it apologized for the confusion. It said, let's try again, because remember, your AI assistant doesn't get mad at you. It doesn't get upset at you. Actually, it apologizes every time it does something wrong or you try to correct it. And then it actually came back and it found this phrase. And this is where we met up when I said, okay, great, thanks. Now do the same thing for row number 9. And of course, that goes back to me creating a reference point based upon that table and saying, okay, let's have a reference point to get back to a place where we can establish what we're trying to work on. What I'm trying to get done is I'm trying to link from each one of these blog posts back to that original blog post, back to what we worked on in day 71. Here in day 72, I'm giving you too much. You're not able to accomplish the task. Okay, let's make it simpler for you. Do row number 1. Row number 1 is the blog post, the first blog post. Give me the link and then move through each row one at a time. And I was able to accomplish the task. A lot of times, just like when we're working with people or we're doing it ourselves, we try to do too much at once and it winds up taking us longer than if we would have just done it one thing at a time. Literally just looked, like I said at the beginning of day 71, I said you'd need to read these blog posts one at a time and manually do the task. Well, that should have been the trigger for me. It should have said to me, well, if I would have to do that by reading the blog post, taking the notes, and then doing the link or making a note of each one, then why wouldn't the AI be able to function more efficiently as well if it was only doing one blog post at a time, which is eventually what I got to. That's where we got, and we were able to get the task done. If you found this helpful, if you find any of this helpful, give this blog post, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you think about what we've done so far, and I'll see you in the next update. Bye.